obviously a big day for a lot of people, and there's some appropriate people that I need to thank first and foremost. And it starts with my family, my mom, my dad. They've stuck by me through thick and thin, and my wife, my Stone and Marley, constantly moving, and we don't plan on moving for a while. We're about tired of moving right now. So Dr. Sweet, Ron Strollo, the board, and the people of Youngstown. I have so many friends that have invested time, energy, blood, sweat into this program, and it's an honor to be a part of this family again. And family is important to me. That's why I'm standing here before you. And we have something special here. We all know that. If you look around this room, it's not hard to figure out that we have a bunch of special people here, and we're all drawn together for the same reason. And I can assure you, as a coach, that I can't do this alone. And I've been very fortunate. In high school, I was coached by Dick Angle right over here. And then I was recruited by Bob Stoops when he was just an assistant coach. We all know who Bob is. I played at Kansas State for Bill Snyder. We turned the program around and it never won. I remember DeVecchio and Sam Moska asking me, are they the Jayhawks? And I'm like, no, we're the Wildcats. And we haven't won a game in 3 years. So, but I had a belief that I could go to Kansas State and play at an early age. And Bob Stoops was a good recruiter. And from there, I got cut professionally and went and coached Snyder at Kansas State. Was a big influence for me to get into coaching. And you know, when I think about Coach Snyder, when I got done playing, I just got cut from the Cardinals. He said, Wolf, you need to be in football. You need to be coaching. And I went back to Kansas State, obviously my alma mater. We were part of something special there. We won the first ball game in school history. And that was a big deal. But the thing that he instilled in me are a lot of little things that you need to do as a person, as a player, as a coach, to make a difference in winning and losing. And it's not based on talent. You know, it's those little things that make a difference in championships. And, you know, I credit Coach Snyder for a lot of my success. From there, you know, I was a graduate assistant. I went on to Emporia State. Very few in here probably know where that is. I was a weight coach, O-line coach, and I drove the 15-passenger van. And what I learned from that experience is you have to learn how to manage a very, very small budget at a small school and get used to driving 8 to 10 hours in a 15-passenger van, driving kids around, and you don't have all these nice things that some of the bigger schools have. From there, I went on to South Florida. You guys all know that South Florida today is a major or a Division I program that's had success, breaks into the top 25 occasionally. Well, Jim Levitt took a chance on me because he knew when I was a graduate assistant at Kansas State, he said, Wolf, I want you to come down here and be our line coach. So I was the first line coach there, and we went from being in basically portable trailers to what the program is today. We started out, at that time it was considered 1AA football. Played teams like Slippery Rock at that time as an opener. We played just an independent 1AA schedule. And I learned a lot about recruiting. He stuck me in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, one of the toughest areas in the country to recruit. And he said, go to work. And Jim Levitt has a big influence on me because I watched him build a program. I watched him build a program from scratch. And one of the things that Jim Levitt said to me, and I see happening here at Youngstown after visiting with Dr. Sweet and Ron Strollo and other board members, is we're not going to do anything around here halfway. You know, that new indoor facility that's getting ready to be done, that thing's not being done halfway. And I remember 2 years into our project in South Florida, a bunch of people said, well, you got to build a facility. You guys got to get out of these trailers. It's not going to work. And Jim said, well, what kind of facility are we talking about building? Are we going to try to be competitive with Miami and Florida State and Florida? Are we moving in that direction? Are we looking at continuing to stay down in the bottom of the food chain? And obviously the project they proposed wasn't what Jim thought the vision of the program was, which was an elite facility. So he held off. We stayed in trailers the whole time. Today, Jim Levitt has a big-time facility because he was persistent about doing things the right way. Ron Strollo is committed to making this place a first-class facility, from a facility standpoint to administrative people he surrounds himself with. And that's the thing that triggered when I was back in South Florida. He triggered with me is he wants this thing to be right, just like all of you do. From there, I went on to Houston, had a run there for 3 years, and then from there I went to North Texas with Daryl Dickey. Had some success there. Met my lovely wife there. She was a professor. That was probably my best recruiting job I'd ever done in my life. You guys can obviously see she's a whole lot better looking than me. But, you know, don't ever be afraid to ask for a date. That's what I always tell people. And she did tell me no, so you have to be persistent. And, you know, it's that second or third date that might give you a chance. But, you know, that experience in North Texas was great. And then I had an opportunity. Mike Stoops hired me at Arizona. And Mike's obviously a personal friend of mine, going back to the Stoops family. And I was out there for 3 years. My last year there, we finished up, went 6-6. And then I had an opportunity to look at some other jobs with Illinois. And Ron Zook, went to Illinois with Ron. He let me recruit Northeast Ohio. That's where I kind of got on a run over here in Northeast Ohio. And we went to the Rose Bowl, had some pretty dynamic offenses. And after that, I was pretty happy with where I was because I was in this area of the country again. My family would travel or come and see me play at Ohio State or at Michigan and, you know, all those type of places. And then Spurrier called me, and we all know who Steve Spurrier is. And Steve Spurrier, in basically 8 months, has transformed me, taught me, groomed me to be in this position here today. And that's pretty good for that short period of time. And a lot of people in the media have a perception that Steve Spurrier may be, you know, a little bit difficult or what have you. He's the most genuine person. He loves people. He loves kids. It's just his whole life he's been bombarded by media that he probably just gets a little bit tired of it. But I think he also likes to pull their chain a little bit too. So I appreciate that about him. And so he offered me the job there. And a lot of people said, Wolford, are you crazy? I said, what do you mean? They said, you don't want to be Steve Spurrier, your offensive line coach. I said, really? They said, no, you don't. And I said, well, that's a challenge to me. It's a challenge to coach in the Southeastern Conference. So my wife, I had to talk her into it a little bit and decided that was a good opportunity for us. So we went down there. We had a nice run there last year. And